What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
It's Melody.
And Cody here, and you've tapped into
The Mama's Den.
Welcome to the Mama's Den podcast. Yes. What you got for us, Ashley? I see a special face.
Oh, well, today we're excited to welcome Katryce Pedro, also known as the Funny Momma, a content creator, chef, DIYer, known for her hilarious, honest take on motherhood in real life. She's a mom of 2 boys, ages 19 and 9, one on the spectrum, recently engaged, and she uses humor and creativity to keep it real about parenting, relationships, and everyday joy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thanks, guys.
And we have been trying to get you here for so long. I'm actually glad that we are doing virtual now because we call our girl from Maryland and you can join us on the pod.
Yep. But you know what? If you guys would have asked me to fly out when you first reached out, I was like, Athena, I guess I'm flying out, girl. I'm going to come. I'm about to book a flight.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, friend. First off, you just got engaged. Can we talk about that?
Yes, I did, it was crazy because it was actually in this house when it was being built. It was just wood, and he said it was Labor Day. And at this point I was like, when is it happening? We've been dating for 4 years now. And every single weekend I thought I was getting proposed to. So I would like do my hair, do my makeup, my nails were already done. And the one weekend I was like, he's not going to do it this weekend. Cause he was telling me his sister was having a party. And she's gonna have a party. She's gonna have a party. She's gonna have a party. I was like, oh, okay. And my outfit, he wasn't really caring about it. He didn't seem nervous. He took a nap before, which I realize now he was under the covers, like texting my family. But he was asleep, so I'm like, oh, he's not doing it today. Like, you can't be this calm. And then he said, you want to come by and see the house? Because we would come see the house like every single week. And then we came, nobody was out here. He was like, let's go inside. I'm like, I have heels on. I'm not walking through this gravel. He's like, let's just go inside. And that's when I kind of knew. And then I heard music playing. It was so cute.
Aww.
Yeah.
You got engaged in your beautiful house.
Yes.
Can you take us back to motherhood? Because I feel like one of the things I'm excited about is that there's a lot of folks that have children and aren't with the father and don't know that they will have the happily ever after love story that you have. Yeah. And so I just want to will you talk to us a little bit about having your kiddos and even being married and divorced? Girl, you have a life.
I have a question that I think the women's will want to know, because some women have a hard time finding love once. You have now found it 3 times, at least.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Love is a big word.
Love is a big word.
Well, I think that's also I hope that, please share if you can, the journey. I think also too, as you are a mother, but this journey to this love story, like Cody said, which is really interesting because you have, again, people are out here talking about Sierra's prayer. How did you find your man in this stage of your life with kids, everything that you've been through, entrepreneurship, all of it?
So I think that my life, especially in the beginning, was very much dictated by what I thought my family wanted, mainly because growing up, I was the problem child. I always got in trouble. Always. I was just getting into some shit. That's why my kids, sometimes I'm like, they're my karma. Some of the stuff that they do, I'm like, I would be mad. And so when I got pregnant, I was in college. It was my first year of college. I got pregnant with my CJ's dad. We got married because I felt like everybody will stop being mad at me if we get married. I'm like, I will fix it. My mom had my sister when she was 16, and then everybody else in her family, they did it the right way. They got married first. They had these huge weddings. My mom was like the black sheep. So then even though my mom was fully she didn't want me to be pregnant at 18. She was supportive. She was going to be there for me. But I know she was getting the backlash from her family of and they're very heavy Catholic, very Mexican Catholic family. So it was when is she getting married? When is she, my parents are both you don't have to get married if you don't want to. But in my mind, I'm everybody will stop being mad at me if I get married. We couldn't even drink on our honeymoon. We technically couldn't even drink at our wedding, but we got fucked up. Oh, can I curse? Can I curse on here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, because I curse a lot. And so, we got married. We were married for a year before he had a baby with someone. Oh, no. I'm lying. Sorry. Flip that. He had a baby And then we got married. And it was mainly because I was trying to push, I'm not a baby mama. Like, I'm like, no, we're still going to get married. Because I'm like,
Wait,
I'm
he had
not
a
a
baby with you or someone else?
someone else.
Because they were
Yes.
dating, right? You were dating.
We were
You got
dating.
pregnant.
Yes.
Somebody else
Yes.
got pregnant. Then you
Wait, you
said,
got
Yes.
"I'm the
pregnant
one."
first?
So
Hold
that
on.
was the other reason why, too. I got pregnant first.
Okay.
Yes. Our kids
Okay.
are 8 months apart.
Lovely.
Lovely. Yeah. And what's so crazy is me and her mom are like super close now. And that is like that is my daughter, like 1000%. But we needed to remove the man from the picture to be able to build this. You know, they always
That's
the
usually
problem.
the
for this
answer to
book.
every
Aren't they
problem in life.
always just the problem?
Remove the man from the equation.
Oh no.
Wait, Katryce, I just have to ask, what's your sign?
I'm a Virgo. I know. I always get mixed things when I say that. It's either oh or
No,
it's like oh.
she's in
Or
the
people
details.
say, really? And I'm like, yeah, really, I'm a Virgo.
I love I'm a Capricorn, so you know I love another earth sign, honey.
Okay.
These water signs over here, they're always drowning me. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Lord, you love it. You love it.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was the pressures from that, and then we had gotten engaged, but it was like, no, we're going to get married because I'm not going to be just one of your baby mamas. Okay, we got married. A year later, we got a divorce because he cheated again. Okay, but for me, I felt kind of like, oh, thank God,
Right.
I can get out of this. Like I can get out of it. So we got divorced, and then CJ. We got divorced before I could even drink, I think. And then I met Ashton's father when I was 24. And now in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to do it the right way. This is going to be the way that I'm going to do it. And I think I based love off of what I saw on the movies. And
a lot of us did and do.
Yeah.
I think there's some serious undoing that needs to happen right now.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think another thing is the way that, at least for millennials, we're like, we were raised like, if they're not beating you or cheating on you, you got a good man, like it could be worse. And so I never really knew what love was. I associated it with a man who said he loved me and he said he wanted to get married and we had an okay relationship. And I was so desperate to do it the right way that I ignored every single red flag. And the heat really got turned up when I've always had like fibroids. I had to have 2 fibroid surgeries, an ovarian cyst surgery. And so one day my doctor was just basically like, you have to have a hysterectomy. Like I was getting iron IVs every single week, 3 times a week for like 8 hours. And she was like, this is going to be your way of life until menopause if you don't, and I was like, I wanted to have another kid. So she's like, well, the way that it is, you're losing so much blood every time you have a period. You can have like a year or 2, but it's just getting incredibly dangerous for you, how anemic you are and how, trying to keep up. So then the pressure was on him. We were together. We had been together for a year and a half, I think almost 2 years at this point. And I just straight up told him, like, if you don't think marriage is something that we're going to do, that's fine. But let me go so that I can move on because I do want to have another kid. And I feel like even that thought process should have been my red flag. But I was a kid. I was 24. I didn't, I didn't know. I'm thinking like, okay, he has a good job. He, whatever. And we got married. And again, I just ignored red flags and, ignored him. And we got pregnant. He didn't want to he already had a son the same age as CJ. And he was kind of like, I don't know. And I was like, this is why we got married. We need to, do this. And I remember he told me when I was like, all right, are we going to start trying? And he was like, one of us is going to end up resenting the other. You're going to resent me if I don't say, okay, and we can have a baby. And I'm going to resent you if we have a baby. And now, mind you, he says this after we were married and after he had already said we were going to have a baby. So I'm like, what the hell? But I was like, okay, let's have No. And now as I'm saying it now, and I've matured and I know, like at that time, I'm like, what do you mean? Of course we're going to have a baby. So we have a baby and then, you can only ignore red flags, but for so long before you just have to call it quits. And I think I stayed a long time. We were together for almost 10 years because I was like, you can't get divorced again. Like, you can't. You already felt like you failed once. You can't do it again. And now you really failed. Like, what is it? Again, it was based off of what society was going to think, what my family was going to think. She's been married twice. And then furthermore, it's like, how will I ever find another partner? Like, who is going to want somebody who's been divorced twice with 2 kids by 2 different people? I'm trying to find my way, and so I stayed for so long. But once I did start looking and I found stuff, I called my parents and I'm crying, and my parents were like, it is okay, you can leave. And it was like, I needed the confirmation from my parents, even though they were never the ones putting the pressure on me. Never. I needed them to say, you're going to be okay. It's fine. You do not have to stay. And then I got a divorce right away. And so 31, I think. Oh, wow. 31, 32. But the worst part was that it was during the pandemic. So I was like 31, 32. And we couldn't move. We couldn't sell our house during that time because, like, where were we going to go, And so we lived with each other for a year separated. He stayed in the basement and I was upstairs. And that was the most miserable thing of my life.
Oh, wow.
It
I
was
didn't realize it was that recent. I don't know if you remember, but we met in 2019 at the Mom Friends.
It happened right after the Mom Friends. That's when Pandora's box opened, and Yeah. Oh, man. But even at the Mom Friends, I watch sometimes, like, people will send me clips that, like, resurface. My goal was always just like, make the man happy, do things that make him happy, and then you'll be happy, And I realized I never considered the man making me happy. Like, it was like, do this so he can make you happy, not why don't you make each other happy. It was always, you do something for the reaction. That shouldn't be, the reaction. So then when I got a divorce, I was very much like, I'm about to be single. My friends said I needed to have a whole phase because I never had a whole phase. They said that was my problem. They said, girl, I was like, oh, I'm a whole phase. Oh my God, I get married. What do you mean?
Oh my God, I get married. I am a serial wife.
So my now fiance, I'm like, no, I'm not going to. And my now fiance, he slid into my DMs, and he has tattoos from, like, right here all the way down on his legs and stuff. He's 6'6", he's like super slow, and he was wearing the way he was dressed. In my mind, I was like, he's a drug dealer. He is a drug dealer. Like, I knew it. I know. Yes. It's awful.
Yeah, she
put
him in the box.
And I took a screenshot and I sent it in my group, and I said, this man's gonna fuck up my life, and I'm gonna let him because he's so funny. I'm about to have my whole phase. Y'all want me to have so bad.
Hilarious.
And so, but he had only liked some of my things. And my notifications go so fast. I'm telling you, it had to be God that I saw his little teeny picture saying he liked my picture. I was like, who the fuck is this? So I went and I followed him. Like, who the fuck? I had been drinking for sure, because I never would go follow a man first. I followed him, but he didn't say anything to me. He would just like my stuff, and I was like, okay, we could play this game. And then it was the versus battle, the one with Dipset and who was it? Dipset and why can't I remember? Because I went for the other people. I don't know. It was Dipset.
Dipset in the Locks?
Yeah, and the Locks. Yeah. I'm on my stories looking a fool with jeans and Timbs on, rapping, looking a mess. I had probably had a whole bottle of wine, and he finally decides to slide in my DMs. I'm like, this is what made you be like,
yes.
Oh, yes, let me approach her while she's looking ridiculous. We were DMing and when he first messaged me, he was like, I think I posted some food I was eating. He was like, can I have a plate? The corny line, can I have a plate? And I said, it's about time you said something to me. And I'm not even that smooth. I'm not even that smooth normally, but the liquor be doing something to you. And we were talking until like 5 o'clock in the morning. So as I'm talking to him, I'm trying to find a way to ask him what he does, because I'm like, I know he sells drugs. I know.
Right, he's not gonna tell the truth if that's the case, girl.
Tell me, let me know what I'm getting myself into. Then I found out he has 3 degrees, 2 masters, than a regular. He's in cybersecurity. He's like a nerd. He's like a nerd. But he's from DC. He's from the city, so he's still hood, but he's like a nerd. It's like the best combo ever. And I was like, wait. So I went right back to the group chat. I said, y'all, I'm getting married again.
Oh my gosh.
I said, I'm gonna marry this man. This is the real deal, y'all. This is the real deal. But it took a while to open up because you start to feel like you're undeserving. And you start to feel like this love that you want so bad, or that you hear people talking about, that is fake. And you're like, nobody is gonna love like that. No man is gonna love you like that. That just doesn't exist. So even though I joked and said I told them I was gonna get married, I really was like, I'm never gonna get married again. I'll date him, whatever. I'm not gonna put myself in that position. And the more we dated, and the more like he would do things, and my reaction was based off of my trauma from my previous relationship. I was like pushing him away for some things, or even doing stuff around the house or building stuff. I love to build, and my parents taught, always, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we always had to make things ourselves, build things ourselves, and our parents always taught us how to do those things. But in my previous relationships, it was a necessity. I didn't have men who were like, let me put it together. I was the person putting things together. I was the person, fixing an issue in the house, doing electrical. And I loved that I could do it, but I never even considered you don't have to, know? And so when he would want to do stuff, I'm like, no, I got it. No, I got it. And it literally took my therapist telling me, you will never enter the soft life if you don't allow it to happen. And I was like, damn, because we got into it about who was going to hang the curtains at my old place. I was like, I can hang. You think I can't hang no motherfucking curtains? I can hang the curtains. And he was like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? And
I went through the same thing. I think, it's just being able to trust. It really, what it comes down is trusting that this person will show up for you, take care of you. And that is something that just makes you feel very uncomfortable, very vulnerable about allowing someone to do something for you. And as you said before, I didn't grow up with a lot either. So there's also this really sad, identity of being so strong, and your identity is that I can do everything on my own. And that's what makes me a great woman. You feel weak by allowing someone to help you. But I don't know. When did your parents separate? Was your mom a single mom growing up, or?
No, my parents were together pretty much our whole lives. They separated when my little sister was in high school.
Wow.
And they were, I think I was like 22, 23. But my dad, actually I was 26. My dad was very much a handyman around the house, doing stuff, fixing stuff, building stuff. He built the whole patio in the backyard, the deck, everything back there. He would build tables that we have in there. He built a robot one time, it was like 8 feet tall. It moved and all this shit for one of my mom's hair shows. So I did see that, but I'm always wondering why I didn't choose that for me. It was like, what is it that you are so attracted to in these men that you were finding before?
Well, it also sounds like oh, go ahead, Mallory.
No, I was just about to say, I actually recently had this reflection for myself, because I'm a child of Caribbean parents, and you didn't have a lot, and so you had to learn how to do things because services and resources luxuries were just not flowing your way growing up. And so I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, as much as it's nice to have people around that can do for you and will do for you, there is a sense of pride in knowing that you can also do for yourself.
1,000%.
And that is something that I do think every woman should tap into at some point in their lives, not as a method of survival, but as a method of empowerment. And I do think that it is important. It's like you said, your therapist was like, if you want to enter the soft life, you're going to have to pull back. But deep down inside, I could do this if I needed to.
Exactly.
So many women, I think, outsource they're dependent on their partners or their family or other people. And then when those people don't show up for them in whatever capacity you expected them to, now you're kind of like, well, I don't know. I've never had to. I don't know how. So I do think that there is a balance and an importance to both.
My parents made that a point, especially My mom, we know how to sew, we know how to cook, we know how to build, we know how to do basic electrical work, basic plumbing. Like anytime my dad was doing stuff, he had 3 daughters, you know, and he also really wanted a son. So he was like, well, this is the best I got. I'm going to show you guys. And he would be like, come here, look at this. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Even with the cars, like, you know, he showed us how to change the oil one time, but I never held on to that because I never would do that. I'm too afraid. But yeah, like gross. Yeah, anything outdoor, I'm like, nope, you can have it. I don't want it. No, thank you. But I think even like how you said it, you do feel empowered, but at the same time too, when you've been doing everything, when you know how to do everything yourself, when you trust somebody else to do it, you have more appreciation for them as well because you know how much it takes to do those little things. It seems like small things, but even like now, he said, because finally I'll just succumb to the soft life. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And since we've been in this house, he literally said the other day, so now you just walk around like, la da da da. I do. I'm like, well, he'll fix it. I'm just texting him like, hey, I think we need to do blah, blah, blah. Hey, we need to do this. And then I'm just on my way. And it is the most incredible feeling ever to just finally not only like feel loved, but I realized even though I've been married before, I never had a partner ever in life. And I know, especially on a bunch of like man podcasts, they're like, we want a woman who's submissive. These women don't listen. These women. And the thing is, you don't give us, first of all, I don't like the word submissive. I think that just, you know, you use that for when you're talking about dogs too. So I feel like if they used another term, it would be better. But also it's not even submission, it is trust. And they're switching up the words. You're not doing enough to make me trust you enough to say, okay, my man's got this. Okay, I don't need to be on your back. And not only that, but I want to cook for you. I want you do all of these things around the house. I want to do for you too. Right. So it's not a thing of like, a man should be like, this is what a woman does. A woman should want to do whatever, you know, all my friends are, almost all of my friends are married. Everybody's relationship works differently. Everybody has different roles and they're all very happy. And I think that now the pressure it's because of those male podcasts, you know?
Yes, but
take their mics away.
I can say this. My homeboy, my best friend Jerome, his dad is a pastor and he married his daughter, so Jerome's sister. And I remember at his wedding, like he gave the best advice. And I was like, well, I never really thought about it like that. He was like,
wait, the pastor married his daughter?
Oh, he married them like he was their official.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, baby, we got a lot more to unpack here. Hold on. Flip that.
I heard it too.
Like, you know, it's really important how you say words. Words matter.
I was going to say, huh. And you still went to the wedding. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm not judgmental at this point. None of my business. No, the father, he officiated his daughter's wedding. But the advice that he gave he said, he talked about submission and how it has a negative connotation. And he said, if the husband wakes up every single day and his main focus is, what can I do for my wife? What can I do for my family? How can I make her happy? And if the wife wakes up every single day and says, what can I do for my husband? How can I take care of him? How can I make him happy? Then both people are inherently being taken care of. Yeah. I think to your point, when you do not have a partner, you often find yourself in a deficit. But like in my home, I don't even have to think about myself in certain ways because Chia really is my partner. Like he is going to think of me, and he gets out of the bed every morning and he turns the sound machine on so that the children don't wake me up. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he turns it up so loud so that he can go on about it. Because girl, I ain't made breakfast in like 3 years, but he makes them breakfast every day and he gets them ready. I come out of my room around 9 o'clock, maybe 10 sometimes. Oh, I have children. Lovely. But it wasn't like that in the beginning because I felt like I needed to overperform, right? And show my worth, and just do everything. And it was really hard for me to let him be a partner. My mom was like, you have to let him help you, and it's not going to be the way you would do it, and it doesn't matter. She was like, let him help you. And, you know, it's the same thing with our kids. We want to do it because we can do it better, and we know how we like it, and we want to do it fast. but it doesn't teach them to be independent. It doesn't teach them to have a sense of pride in their own home and to like really want to contribute. So I think when we allow our partners and our children to contribute and help, even if it's not the way we want it, it gives them a sense of ownership as well and makes them feel obligated and like, this is important to me and this is a part of my home. So I do think the male podcasts are the problem, but a lot of times as women, we can not create a space to allow our partners to feel like they can contribute or that their contribution matters or is as equal. Because I definitely was that woman. I was like, I do it. I don't need you to do it. You ain't do that right. Never mind. You know?
And that's and in that same breath, I think it also, another key thing is showing gratitude.
Yes.
And I think that it's one thing that I really worked on in my 30s in general, showing gratitude and you know, making sure to let people know that I appreciate everything and anything that they do for me, but with a partner as well, because, you know, sometimes I hear people talking and saying like, you know, well, my man, I don't think about that because my man does that, my man does this, and my man does that, and blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of see the man in the background like, yeah, I do. But like, you know, it's kind of, and it's like, but do you say thank you? Like, do you say, like, I appreciate you doing this, or I appreciate, you know, like, since we moved in this house, I have not taken that dog for a walk one time. I didn't even think about it. That was never discussed. I was supposed to be taking him out in the morning. He was going to take him out at night. Never once have I taken that dog out. And I say, even though I know he's annoyed, I'm like, you know, I really appreciate everything you do for Deuce. You really do love him. And he be looking like, so you just not going to take him out no more. I'm like, you know, but I love you so much. I appreciate and I appreciate all the hard work, you know, and I think those little things people forget. I think a lot of emphasis is put on women having feelings, which we do, obviously, but men be having some big ass feelings too. And because they haven't been allowed most of the time to really express those feelings, and they've been taught to suppress those feelings. When me and him first started dating, I always say he's like Shrek, like he's like, you know, when they say you have to peel back the layers like an onion. And he was like, our first real date, it was like, well, it wasn't a real date, it was a FaceTime call. And when I FaceTimed him, he was like leaned back, he had his hand up, like he was too cool for anything. No, old Katryce would have been like, I can fix him. Therapy Katryce was like, if this is how you are, because this is not who you were when we've been DMing and texting this whole time, then we can wrap this call up right now, because I'm not about to sit here and deal with this. This man sat up, fixed the phone, propped it up, like, you know, sitting here talking. And from then, you know, it was very important for me to, you know, I want you to create a safe space for me where I feel comfortable talking to you, but I also want you to know that it's safe for you to feel comfortable talking to me about anything. So that was something in the beginning of our relationship that I really pushed, and I really wanted to hear his feelings. And no, tell me how you feel about this. Now this man got so many feelings, y'all. He got so, it's like I created a monster. He'd be like, I just really feel like, I'm like, the feelings again.
Okay, wait, what's his sign?
He's a Virgo too.
Oh.
Yes.
Shocking.
Yes. Okay, wait, for the girlies that don't know the signs as well. What is that? What do two Virgos bring? What does that mean?
Imagine two know-it-alls.
Oh.
But only one knows it all.
But only one. Obviously.
But it is literally, it is fact checking 24/7. If he's like, oh, the garbage disposal is making a weird noise or something, and I'm like, oh, I think it might be the blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, I think it's the, we both pick up our phones. Who is right? We're Googling who is right on this. And then you know who's right because the other one gets very quiet. And we force the other one to say, you were right.
Yes.
So,
this is me.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
Wait, Katryce, I want to say something, or something that you said like struck a chord with me, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And I think for folks like looking for love, right? Like I think that's really important. That the because, you know, mostly mamas in our village, but it's everybody, right? And you said that, you know, how your dad was, and you weren't sure why, like you kept going the other way. But what I heard was not that you went the other way as much as you were trying to make things work after like a mistake, right? Like a what you felt like it was a mistake or a disgrace or whatever. Like I got pregnant, or, you know, you were trying to make things work longer than you should. But I think it sounds like in your heart of hearts, you knew what you wanted, you knew what was right, or at least you were going in that direction. But you and a lot of us spend a lot of time trying to fix the mistake, or like wrap it up in a bow, and like eliminate this, like not eliminate, avoid the stigma of like, okay, that don't work, let me
Oh, yeah.
slip out for too
I
long.
1000% did. And I think also my parents, they're both entrepreneurs. My mom had two salons. Now she only has one because she has heart disease. So she just sold the other one. But my dad as well. My dad was always traveling or coming home very, very late from working.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was traveling to do different hair shows in London and Paris and Italy and all of these things. And so when we did see our parents together, it was like, oh, okay, they're laughing, giggling, whatever. But then when we see them fighting too, it was like we never saw a consistency of this is what it's like. It was like one
Yeah.
would be home or the other one would be home, or, it was really quick. And my parents were so entrepreneur, like super entrepreneurs, like work, 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 because we want to give our kids every single thing. And I think that's why for my sisters and I, it's like we don't miss anything for our kids. And not to say, I mean, I'm so grateful to my parents, and also my mom is Mexican, so she's, I feel like anybody with foreign parents, like they're gonna work down to the
Yeah.
bone. Like there's no other option other than to do that. But because of that, I feel like I didn't really have the best example of, what a healthy relationship was. So I'm kind of just
Yeah.
filling in the blanks. And that's why I said, like, I love TV, I love film, and I romanticize life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I said that's where I got my idea of love from, was movies where someone would cheat, and it's like, and my favorite is comedy. So, someone would cheat and they'd make a joke about it, and like, oh, he always cheating, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that's just it. Or he's lazy and it's a joke, it's funny, it's, whatever. But in real life, it doesn't translate the same way. And I feel like, I'm really, this generation, Gen Z, they get on my last nerve, but they really be knowing stuff. Like they really put their
Because
health,
they're
their mental
watching
health.
us. They're
Yeah,
like,
they
y'all,
put,
y'all don't look like
they
you like
they're
that.
like, I don't want no kids. So many of them are like, I don't want no kids. I'm like, you know what? Good for you. Live your life. Live your life. I would never change having kids, but I feel like for us, it was always like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? And now for them, it's an option. I don't know if I want to get married. I don't know if I want to have kids. They're putting themselves first. And even another thing that changed so much, and I think it really helped me find a healthy love, is that I made sure I was 100% independent on my own. It's different for me when I was getting married because I, thought that was the right thing to do. Or I'm getting married because I want to have a child. Well, I already have my kids, I've already been married. And now I'm financially very comfortable, on my own. So now it's like, so anybody who comes to the table, what are you bringing to, like, you literally have to bring, you can't tell me you're going to give me kids. You're not going to tell me you're going to give me a ring. I don't need your money. So you as a person in your core, you have to bring me something for me to say, oh, okay, maybe this is something that, I want to do. And I think that Gen Z really has it right because, it's a lot of things. As a mom of a Gen Zer, they get on my nerves. But some of the stuff my son says, I'm like, you know what? Good for you. Like, really good for you. And like the girls, it's like, no, I don't want this. I want this. This is my career. This is what. And I'm like, that good for you. You're making decisions based off of what you want. Some of them want to have kids right away, and that's great. But it's because it's what they want to do and not what society is telling them to do.
Yeah. I don't want us to we only have a little bit of time, but
Okay.
we on the Mama's Den get a lot of questions from moms with kids with autism.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you've shared your journey so beautifully. And I remember what stands out a lot to me is you, and you will describe it better than me, but like your sort of cocktail of vitamins and things that you felt like really made a difference in Ashton's life. So like, will you share a little bit of that journey of like finding out and how you dealt with
Yeah.
it over time?
So he was fine. He was, developing normally, hitting all of his milestones and stuff. And then around 18 months, he stopped saying mama and dada, and he started kind of reverting, and we're like, what is going on here? And it was so subtle and so slow that at first when we took him to the doctors, they were like, he just has a developmental delay. And I'm like, but as a mom, I'm like, something is going on here. And so then that's when the pandemic hit, and we're in the house. And right before, it was probably the month before the pandemic, and I always mess up this timeline, but when I was told that he had been diagnosed with autism, they gave me a pamphlet, and it was just like, okay, well, you can sign up through the state for, like, the parenting, the early childhood intervention program and whatever. And that's pretty much it. They didn't say anything else. I'm like, what the fuck? Your whole world just crumbles. You don't know what this means. And the spectrum it's called a spectrum for a reason. So,
yeah.
And it's really called a spectrum because they're trying to put a blanket over a multitude of different things. You can have someone who, their symptoms, or, well, symptoms isn't really the right word. I can't think of the word, but it's more,
the way it shows up, maybe.
Exactly. It's more intense. It's more, and then you have high functioning, like Ashton. He's very high functioning, but socially he's behind. So, for instance, he turns 9 in 2 weeks, but he still acts around like 5 or 6. He's not quite up to where his friends are. So socially, he has issues with that because imagine like a 5-year-old trying to play with 9-year-olds. They're going to be like, we have nothing in common, like he's still obsessed with Chuck E. Cheese, and they're like, we're playing Fortnite, we're doing, so it really took for me to go online and just put it out there. And then I got all of these moms who were like, and I had a very small platform at this point. I had that's actually when I had like started the Funny Momma, was right before I found out that he, was diagnosed, because I was going through postpartum depression. I didn't know what was going on. I'm trying to figure out, trying to sort out my life. And me opening up and asking different moms, they were like, well, you should try this. You should try this. Here's a book for this. Try this, do that. And I tried everything because I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. And even though the pandemic was awful, it was, the worst time for so many people, it was a blessing in disguise for me, because at that point I was working at NASA, and I hadn't been furloughed yet, but I was an event director. So I didn't have any events to direct, so they were literally just paying me, and I was at home. So during that time, I sat there with him and I did all kinds of exercises, because he was nonverbal. He wouldn't make eye contact. He wasn't potty trained yet, and he's like 4, almost 4 or 3.5 at that point. And every single day, and it was so hard because I felt like he wasn't taking it in. I'm doing all of these vitamins and supplements. Everybody's like, it's probably going to take some time. So I'm just pushing through every day. I'm crying because I don't know what's going to happen. And little by little, every like month or two, he would start to show, like, it was like things were like chipping away, like you would start to see his little personality coming out, and you would start to see that he was picking things up. And one of the main things that I did that I always tell people is, especially if you have a nonverbal child, people are so stuck on, I want them to talk, instead of I want them to communicate. Communication is first with their eyes. So he wasn't even looking at us. We would call his name, he wouldn't even look at us. So it's like you want this child who has a disability to meet you here instead of you meeting them here. They have their ways of communicating. It's, obviously non-traditional. It's not, but try to understand what they're saying. And once I did try to understand what he was saying, and I was like, what is he obsessed with? He's obsessed with animals. So I got all these animal flashcards. I got all these animal figurines. So every time we would go through the flashcards, if he could name them, I would let him go in the bucket of animal figurines and he could pick a new one. So he was so excited, and he would stay with it because he wanted one of those animal figurines. And just doing eye contact, taking him to the park. It's like simple things. We would take him to the park, and we had a family friend she works at Howard, and she's like one of the heads of like autism and behavioral health. And she was telling me, push him on the swing, and then push him a couple of times so he can feel the rush of like how fun it is. And then every time count 1, 2, 3 and hold him and don't let go until he makes eye contact on 3. So I would say 1, 2, 3. And then he would be so excited because he knew I'm about to let him go, but he wouldn't make eye contact. So he realized in order for me to get a reaction from her, I have to look at her. And it's like the smallest form of communication, but it changed everything. So it really is a lot of trial and error, and it's very scary because the doctors will, I'm trying to say this without sounding like I'm bashing doctors because I'm not, but a lot of times doctors will say, how can I say this? The best way for me to say this is after he was no longer nonverbal. He's talking, he's making eye contact, he's identifying a lot of things, he's doing a lot more. He's still, you can tell he still is not, where he needs to be developmentally, but we had a follow-up meeting with a developmental pediatrician, and it was his first time meeting him because he got diagnosed by another one. So this was the follow-up. And he was like, are you sure? Like, what did you do from the last time? Because I'm looking at his paperwork. What's going on? Like, what did you do? Did you introduce a new medication? So I'm telling him I changed his diet. I gave him all these supplements. I did that. And he's like, diet and supplements don't change anything when it comes to autism. And I'm like, well, clearly it does, because even you don't know what I did. You can't figure out how he's to this point based off. He's like, no, I've been doing this for a very long time. That has nothing to do with it. So a lot of times I feel like, and I don't think it's a thing of doctors giving the wrong information. I think it's the thing of autism it's been here for a while, but it's so new as far as being a focus that's not something that a lot of doctors are very well rounded on.
Yeah, it's like you said, a spectrum, like
Exactly.
menopause. Folks are just now figuring out how to talk about it and what it
But most
entails.
doctors don't know about nutrition in relation to health, which sounds very insane. But I literally had a doctor tell me, she was like, we didn't study that in school. She was like, we studied medicine. We did not study nutrition.
Yeah.
They are completely different things. Although they belong together.
Yeah.
They don't discuss how diet affects anything, cancer, autism, nothing. That's not something that goes on in school. So a lot of times doctors really don't know, and they're thrown off when you provide them with information.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I don't trust this.
I'm always gonna have a little something about the medical field, and it's not that I think y'all are wrong. I think you're totally right. I think that, like everything else, there was a time where like medical school was, like you said, medicine. This is what the research says and the data says. And I think that now more and more doctors are realizing exactly what you're saying about like the combination of nutrition and whatnot. And so the importance in like knowing that bias and seeking out people who are actively saying like, yes, I am a medical professional who looks at this and this, and just being aware of it.
Yeah. And I just happen to have the upper hand because my mom's now husband, he is a doctor and he's a fantastic doctor. And he, while, like you said, he learned with medicine, he's not a holistic doctor, but he has a lot of holistic practices that he does. And he always, like, when you go to him, if you're having an issue, he'll always take your blood and want to check every single thing. And you're like, why do you need to check all of this stuff? He has saved so many of like people who I know, their families, like different little things. And it's because he just happened to check something else and he'll say, well, stop eating this or incorporate this supplement or do this. So it's not that he won't do medication, but he'll try other things first. So I've always been able to, if I've heard something about a medication, with me, it's more so, instead of being like, do you think I should give him this? I'll say, is it okay if I give him this? Will it mess him up if I give this to him? Because I'm going to try. I've done enough research on my end to know I'm going to try this. And, like you said, some doctors, they just have not bridged the gap of like nutrition and medicine. And some stuff, it is so new. It's new products, new supplements that have come out that there's not that much information on it. So I'm going by other moms who have tried it with their kids. But it's mainly just, will my child die if I give this to him? Okay, good. Now I can try this. So I do have the upper hand with that, but I do think it's very important to connect, find the right pediatrician, and to find a holistic doctor or find a mom group. I'm telling you, we have a mom group for here in the DMV. It's like 150 moms, and we started it because I was getting me and my friend Casey, we were getting so many different questions, and we're like, we don't know. And not only do we not know, but we don't really feel comfortable being like, give them this supplement, give them that supplement, you know? And the community that has been built, not only for helping your child, but you need the community. Like as a mom, it's hard because family doesn't understand, and a lot of time, and they mean well, but if I had a dime for every time somebody said like, he doesn't look autistic, or I think he'll be fine, or such and such used to do that when he was little, and now look at him, he's fine. And it's like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you truly don't understand. You don't understand from this hour that you've been with him how, you know, everything is, you know, in general. So building that community, if any mom is listening and they are, you know, they want to know where to start, my number one tip would be to find a community in your area. And if you don't have one, start one online. Sometimes it takes being a little bit vulnerable and going online and saying, my child is on the spectrum. I don't want to know what to do. I'm here. Are there any other moms here? Because even play dates and stuff, still for me, they can get really, my anxiety will go through the roof because he doesn't really know personal space yet, you know, or sometimes he's playing with kids and he thinks that they're playing tag when really they're running away from him because they're like annoyed with him. And, you know, as a mom, you want to help, you know, and we want to be like, fuck them kids, like you don't play, you know, but you can't do that. And there's been so many birthday parties that I've left early. We go to the park and I'm like, okay, it's time to leave. But when you find other moms with littles on the spectrum, they understand, and the kids understand each other, and it's easier for them to play. So, you know, sorry, I know you said we don't have a lot of time, and I'm just like,
No, that's super helpful. And I mean, look, I think too, one of the biggest things that you're saying, which we say all the time, is in motherhood we need community. And more often than not, people are like scared to be vulnerable or scared to say I need help, and that has to stop. Like we just ain't gonna survive it if we don't say what we need and speak up for what we're afraid of, or what we don't understand. We just won't survive it.
Especially in the Black and brown communities, because it's such a, you know, stigma, mental health in general. And there's so many moms in our mom group who if we'll do like an autism event or something like that, they will ask us not to post a picture of their child because the dad does not want people to know. It's almost always the dad, or there have been like a lot of aunts or cousins who reach out, or, you know, like grandparents who they're like, I think my child is on the spectrum, but the parent is in denial. Every time we try to talk to them, they get upset. But and then they wait until it's too late. Between birth and 5 years old is when a child's brain is like a sponge. So you can build habits with them. But once they turn 5, those the different quirks and stuff that they have, those start to become habit. Like they start to cement and become, you know, who they are. And while you can still help to change that, it becomes very difficult once they hit 5. So it always breaks my heart when, you know, someone's like, yeah, he got diagnosed at 12, because it's like, well, now you're dealing with puberty, and the hormones with that in general is, you know, a whole nother thing. But it's just a lot harder to fix that issue, you know, or to not to fix. It's not something you can fix, but, you know, to help them to give them the best shot, because, you know, their little brains aren't absorbing as much as before.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you because I know we've talked before about this and you sharing, and I know sometimes it can be negative feedback online, and I know the pressure of like sharing your child's journey, and I can see how too, like, if someone else's child is on the spectrum and you're sharing these things and it's working for you, it's not working for them, they can feel triggered by that. But I do think that it's super important because a lot of information that you've shared has even helped me with my children. I don't know. I firmly believe that everybody is on the spectrum.
Oh, everybody got a touch of autism. Everybody.
Especially myself, because I definitely was like, Mom, you should have got me evaluated, because the way I cannot stand certain sounds, I'm like, how have I been functioning as an adult, as a human being? I literally used to just go to my room because I could not listen to the way people would chew. And I'm like, that wasn't
that'll make me cry. That will make me cry.
literally. But I feel like when you share just the vitamin, all of these things is very helpful. So I hope you continue to share and continue to be open. I love that you guys have a group, and I don't know if you like share this or not, but I feel like you guys might need to like share the link to the group so that other people that really want that help can join. And even if they're not in your area, I just think that advice is incredibly important in the Black community. And I'm glad that you're sharing that.
The only reason we don't share is because it's an Instagram group and you can only have up to 150 people. So that's why we're like, and you know, it's become like, it's very rare that I go into the group, only because I started it because I have ADHD very, very bad. And so it would also be like, I would tell somebody like, follow up with me and let me know how it goes. And they would follow up and I'm like, huh, what are you talking about? You know, like, I'm like, no, I need a community that they can, you know, like help each other. So that's what I was saying. I think that, and a lot of things they share too is like, this is a good dentist in the area for someone. So that's why it's very good to start a group locally so that you can find, they have, you know, things for sensitivities, like this play, I don't know, like a urban air or whatever it is, you know, things like that. A sky zone, they have these nights where it's, you know, they won't simulate them or whatever. But yeah, thank you. And it is really hard. The autism community is very tough online. And you have to it's very scary to post sometimes, because you have people who they're like, yeah, you know, I changed this, I changed food and it helped so much. And then you have people who they're like, this didn't help and you're giving people false hope and you can't cure autism. I'm like, I never said I was trying to cure autism. I'm just trying to give him the brightest future possible. And I'm sharing this information because it helped my son and I hope that it helps somebody else. But the autism community can be the parents, it can be very tough. And I always like to remind people that none of us know what the fuck we're doing. None of us. Period. Every child is completely different, but we are all trying to do the best that we can for our kids. So if you don't like something that somebody else is saying or that they're trying for their kids, just don't try it for yours. But going on their page, adding more negativity when we are quite literally fighting for our lives, trying to, you know, be positive and happy for our kids while we don't know what the fuck is going on. I think that just defeats the purpose of, you know, trying to say that you're trying to help a child or trying to, you know.
Well, folks gonna be nasty, but you obviously have the best of intentions, and your vulnerability like has helped so many. I think all of us know you through different spaces, but what we, you know, through DMing you for the last several years, like we met one time 7 years ago almost, you know? And so I'm really grateful to have you in the Mama's Den. I think that all of this has been amazing. I'm so excited for your life, for what you have learned about yourself and about love and this good man that you have. And
he's like, good man.
I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful, Katryce. Thank you for coming on.
Give me an invite to the wedding, girl.
I will, girl. I will. Okay.
Well, I guess that's 3 invites.
Yes. Okay.
We're a package deal.
Okay.
That's true. I need
Okay, Katryce, where can folks find you?
They can find me at the Funny Momma on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And yeah.
Are you still selling your cookbooks? Are they still for sale?
I am still selling my cookbooks. So yeah, that's another thing. I'm the worst at marketing myself. Thefunnymomma.com. You can get your cookbook. I am an actual chef, so it's a real cookbook, y'all.
What can't she do, ladies and gentlemen? What can't she do?
I cannot twerk to save my life, and I cannot whistle either.
What?
I'm not happy about it.
Twerk that booty?
I can't. I know. God gave me a booty with no instructions. I've said that before. I'm like, sir, you forgot the instruction manual. I don't know what to do here.
Hilarious. Well, thank you, girl. For those listening that may be new to the Den, you can follow us at the Mama's Den Podcast on Instagram. You can send us love letters and questions at podcasts with an S at blacklove.com. And go out and be vulnerable and meet mom friends, guys. That's our message today.
Yes.
And then meet a man.
And let a man do something for you.
And let a man do something for you.
Yes. All right. Thank you,
Guys.
Katryce.